How's it, everybody? And a warm welcome to the NFT show. My name is Philip Klinko, and I am your host. We're going to be looking a little bit into the Azuki situation, discussing it, but more importantly, taking from it what we can all learn going forward. You know, this NFT space and journey, and whatever you want to call it, is a constant learning curve for all of us. And I think as long as you're learning from your mistakes, trying to, figure out where you went wrong, where we went wrong, and then putting that in your knowledge base and not making the same mistakes again, then you're growing in the space, right? And I think that that's really important. So we're going to have a look at it, break it down, and see what the lessons are, so that next time going forward, we better equipped to deal with it, right? So before we do that, let's have a look at the market. Let's see what's going on. I can see here the OpenSea numbers are a little bit deceptive because it shows yesterday $129 million, but we do know that a huge portion of that was people trying to sell their beans and their Azukis. So it's very hard to know what this number would be if the Azuki news never came out. We do also know that in secondary sales yesterday alone, there was like over $10 million done on the beans and about $30 million done on Azuki, which is just crazy. I mean, they pocketed about $2 million in royalties yesterday alone from the sell-off. So very hard to know. And even today, there's a lot of trading going on Azuki and beans. So these numbers are hard to see. What I can tell you is that we're definitely still very, very much in a bear market. If you look here at the crypto market, you'll see that, I mean, Bitcoin is under 30,000 for the first time in a long, long time. Ethereum sitting at 2,150. And, the market is really, the crypto market is really in trouble. We've been seeing what's happening at Luna and Tether. And it is a concerning time in general for the crypto market. But I do believe this too will pass. So like we said in Monday's show, if you haven't watched that video, what to be doing at this time, I do suggest you watch it. But not the time to panic, the time to be calm and know that this too will pass. If we have a look in the last 24 hours, the trending collections on OpenSea, have a look here, Azuki. It's done 10,000 ETH in the last 24 hours, which is huge. 8 ETH floor price. Not going to speculate on that. I'm just telling you what it is. Other deeds sitting at 2.8. Absolute steal, if you ask me. Ragnarok sitting under 1. Bean sitting around the 1 ETH mark. Mutants under 20. Bored Ape Yacht Club at 92. Moonbirds at 21-ish. PXN at 3.75. I know that they've got their reveal coming up. If I held one, I would sell pre-reveal, as you guys know. If I like the project, I would buy in again after reveal. A lot of guys like this. It's I don't know enough about it. And as we'll get into the Azuki side, I'm quite hesitant about new projects at the moment, regardless, just to be honest. Clone X, absolute steal. I'm being dead serious. 12.5 Ethereum, I think, is an absolute steal. Doodles, just under 17. They are having their airdrop soon, or they've just had it. I'm not 100% sure. But after that airdrop, I do think there'll be some consolidation downwards here. Imaginary One sitting at 0.64. OK Bears at 145 Solana. Dots Country Club, I don't know what that is. Murakami Flowers at 4 ETH, and then we've got CryptoPunks. All right, so guys, let's talk a little bit about Azuki first. Then we're going to say to ourselves, was Azuki a blue chip or not, objectively, after we discuss what a blue chip is. And then if Azuki was not, what is a blue chip? What is safe in the NFT space? Now, I think it's really important to understand that NFTs work differently to anything else. In the real world, in Web 2, a blue chip share on the stock exchange is one that's been trading for 10 years, has had 2 or 3 years of continual growth, or, there's a lot of things that make a real blue chip in the real world. And obviously with the NFT space, Bored Ape Yacht Club is just over 1 year old. we don't have the same criteria when we call an NFT project a blue chip. So I do think it's just important to understand when we're saying NFTs are blue chips, we're not using the same methodology that we would use when we say a share is a blue chip. Obviously, the NFT space is incredibly risky. We know that. And in theory, I mean, you could say nothing is a blue chip, because by Web 2 standards, nothing actually is a blue chip. With that said, there are a couple, and I'm saying under 5 collections that I consider a blue chip in the space, NFT blue chip, and we're going to be looking at those. But let's just have a look at Azuki and let's try to figure out what happened and what we can learn for it, right? So what happened was we have Azuki sitting at around a 30 ETH floor. They hit as high as 40 ETH 2 days ago. Everyone really excited about this project. People went to that in-life event about a month ago or 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, no idea. Got their beans, it dropped to them. They said, check your MetaMask. Everyone got these 2 airdrops. The airdrops were sitting at 6 ETH, and you got 2 of them. So, effectively you're sitting with a 30 ETH Azuki, 12 ETH worth of beans. They had the reveal. The reveal went quite well. Some people liked the artwork, some people didn't. That's to be expected. It's subjective. But in the end of the day, there were rares selling for 30, 40, 50 ETH of the beans, which is incredible. So lots of positive signs. There was talk in the early days about Azuki being the guys that created the token that was so gas efficient for the Azuki drop. They didn't create it, they just used it. So everything was going fine. Everything's going all right? We even heard about a week ago, a few days ago, that Azuki had hired the Hello Kitty exec to help them run the project. So things were looking really, really positive. Then on the 9th of May, so 2 days ago, Zagabond, who is the founder of Azuki, dropped this article, right? It's on his Twitter. You can see his name here. You can go have a look at it yourself. And just to sum it up, he basically, in a nutshell, admitted to have been part of 3 other projects prior to this project where he had left those projects. So people paid, people minted, and he was the founder of those projects. And, when it wasn't going so well, he up and left, right? And further things came out about it. We heard as well that, in one of the projects, he pretended to be a female founder called Mandy, and all the rest. And he did a Spaces yesterday, which I've listened to the whole thing, as painful as it was, and was basically saying that all of these failures were part of his journey and really brought him to where he's supposed to be, which is Azuki, and that, the female founder in the one project and having a different PFP and name in the other project was all part of the lure and the marketing and the story behind those projects, and really trying to fluff it up. Now, it has come out, and the rumors are that someone in the CoolCats team said to him, if he doesn't leak this information, they will. I don't know how they knew what they knew. And he decided to come out with this article over here and try and dress it up as good as he can and tell his story about these different projects. One of them was Zanks and all the rest of it, right? So I'm not here to pass judgment on him. I'm really not. And I'm not here to make calls as to whether I think this project will succeed long term or not. I do think a lot has to do with how the whole Azuki team acts from now. Their next steps are very, very important. I do believe that he needs to step down for them to have a chance of having some level of success. But the lure of Azuki is gone. People realized all of a sudden, oh my God, I've got 30 or 40 ETH, so $200,000, $300,000 in a project where the founders aren't known. He's still not doxed. We've just got a pseudonym, and that would be scary to anyone, even if we weren't in the market that we are in now, which is already scary. But again, that's for them to decide, and whatever will be as far as Azuki goes. But from our perspective, we need to say to ourselves, okay, look, either I want to be risky and new projects that seem to be pumping, I want to get in and I'm going to be high risk in the NFT space, which is already risky, or we want to say to ourselves, I want to be in the space, but I want to take lesser risks. I want to be as low risk as I can in a high risk space. And the way we do that is by investing in projects that we are comfortable in. So either blue chips or projects where we've done good research. Maybe we know the team, we know of the team, they've done other successful projects, because that is going to lower your risk of having something like this happen to your portfolio. Right. And he since came out after the Spaces and said that he realized how shit the Spaces was, and he's sorry for that. And he's sorry to the Azuki holders, and he's sorry to the other communities that he walked away from, and all the rest. Right. And that's fine. Well, again, we're not here to have a look at that. I'm not here to be spreading FUD or not, or showing support. I'm completely impartial as far as this goes. I'm not really interested. What I am interested in is my viewers and trying to learn from this, all of us, so that we can be better equipped going forward, right? All right, so let's have a look here. I mean, just to show you, the floor price is 8. Beans, the floor price is 1. All right, so now I'm saying to myself, what do I want to invest in? For me, I want to invest only in blue chips. That's all I'm interested in. If I can mint something that I really, really believe in, fine. But overall, I don't want to put big ETH into anything except for blue chips. And then I said to myself, okay, what can be a checklist of things that I can use to say to myself, is this a blue chip in my mind for NFTs or not? Right. And there's a couple of things that I think are very, very important. The first thing is that for me personally, I want a doxed team. I do. I want to know who the founders are. I think the most important thing, and not so that I've got recourse or, I'm not going to go knock on a guy's door. I want to know that this is a founder who is Philip, and this is what Philip has done in the space, and this is what Philip hasn't done in the space. I want to be able to research the founders of the project so I know what I'm investing in. In the real world, you're not going to go to any company. Let's say you want a marketing company for your clothing brand. You're not going to hire anyone if they're all behind Moss. You're not. In the olden days in the space, everyone was doxed. And that's, in a way, a good thing about Web3 was you were able to be, and whatever. That time for me has changed. I personally am not happy with that anymore. And I think that will be a shift that we've already seen it happening a bit, but a shift that most people come to with the realization of that, look, we want to know who you are so that we can research you properly. Because if we don't know who the team is, we have no idea what we're buying into. This is not baby money. This is big boy money. And I want to know what I'm buying into. So the one thing is we want a good team, and we want them to have a proven track record. Right? So we want to know that anything they've touched before, what happened, is it good, is it bad? So there's notable people that we can follow in the space. Like an example of this is Kevin Rose, right? We know who he is. We know he's a builder. Even Llama from Llamaverse. He's got an alpha pass, but we know who he is, and we know that he's a builder. Even on the smaller scale, Robotos with Pablo Stanley, right? They're building. I know they're building constantly. They're at a floor of 0.3. I feel safe putting my money there. I'm not saying Robotos is a blue chip necessarily in NFTs. I'm saying I'm comfortable to invest in teams that I know are building. You look at Dead Fellas. They just signed this massive deal with the in real life person. Betty is saying that she's going to dox herself in the next couple of weeks because she's realizing the times are changing. But still, we've got a proven track record of showing that these guys are builders in the space. They're committed to the space, and they're going to be working, and they're not going to be up and running as soon as the going gets tough, right? And that's really what you want to know about it. So much so that in our Discord, the NFT Show Discord, and this, I haven't changed anything at all. In our Discord here, I've got notable 2021 projects. I'll just make this bigger so you guys can see. But I think the point is very, very important. I've separated 2021 projects from 2022 projects. And basically what I'm saying in the category key here is that anything in this 2022 project side is having a higher risk because we haven't yet had enough time of a couple of months to see what the team is building, what they're capable of. And within that, okay, let's rank them of which ones we have the best conviction of which Azuki was at the very, very top. But still to say that this is unranked, this is a new product section, a new project section, and therefore there's still risk. So gold means we believe that they have amazing potential as far as new projects go. we're confident for the long term. But as far as new projects go, because until we can give them a chance to see how they deliver, if they deliver, all the rest, we don't know for sure. Versus 2021 projects over here, where we're ranking them also, of course, they're risky. It's just ones that we believe in, and we're ranking them based on how established they are. And there you've got your Bored Ape Yacht Club, your CryptoPunks, Neo Tokyo, Clone X, NFT Worlds, Doodles, World of Women, CoolCats, CyberKongs, Kaiju Kings, etc. So I think that that distinction is very, very important to have in your mind. That whenever you're seeing a brand new project, you have to know, no matter how hyped it is and no matter what everyone is saying, that it carries a higher risk than an established project that's been delivering. Right? So I'll take you through a couple of projects that in this climate I'm busy buying or watching or about to buy or sniping that I'm pretty comfortable with. Again, this is not financial advice. Anything can happen. And I think Azuki is a good lesson to that. Even a project with a 40 ETH floor can go to 8 ETH pretty much overnight, especially when you don't know the team and everything like that. So one of them, and these are not punts, this is honestly just projects that I am comfortable investing in. So we've got World of Women. We've spoken about World of Women many, many times before. I think at this price, I've said this at 6 ETH as well. I've said this at 7 ETH, and I meant it, and I mean it now. I think at this price, it's a great entry into this ecosystem if it resonates with you. What we do know is that Guy Osari, the manager of Madonna and Bored Ape Yacht Club, is part of their team. And if you just have a look at the all-time volume here, they've had really, really great highs. And, it's a good time to buy when nothing's happening in the ecosystem. World of Women have had their World of Women Galaxy drop recently. And since then, they've been very, very quiet. And that is a good time because they're not going to stay quiet forever. But you can see, this project has hit highs of almost 18 Ethereum. So I do think there's space for them to grow. I think this is a really great entry point. And again, because they've been around, they've been around here since beginning of August last year. They have been builders in the space. They've done collabs with the likes of Sandbox, with Barbie, within real life brands, right? Which you don't get by sitting behind a mask. You get that by going to Barbie, sitting in a boardroom, showing them your plans. Barbie's not going to risk their reputation without knowing who these people are and what their plans are. So all of that's quite bullish, and that's one of that's the reason that this is one of the projects that I'm quite comfortable buying into as far as risky NFTs go. And of course, if getting into World of Women at 4.5 ETH is not in your budget, you're not able to do it, then you do have the World of Women Galaxy collection, which is going to be pegged, and I'm sorry to use that word with all the pegging that's going on in cryptocurrencies, which is going to be pegged to the price of World of Women. So should World of Women go to 15 ETH again, we would expect this price to triple, to go to 1.5 ETH at the very least. So World of Women and World of Women Galaxy is a good entry point in my opinion at this price, and also a great project to get into, right? But not financial advice. I do have CoolCats here. This is a riskier play, and it also goes to show that even a project like CoolCats is not immune to having issues and potentially going to zero. That's the truth of any project in the NFT space. That's the truth of any company. We saw in the 2008 stock exchange crash in the States how the too big to fail and whatever, a lot of them were left to fail, that were just not big enough not to fail. And we had huge companies, in real life companies that everyone thought were unfailable, failing and don't exist anymore. And so we have the same risk times 100 in the NFT space because it's more risky than normal real life. So what's happened with CoolCats, just so that you know what you're getting into, is that their CEO or founder or whatever has stepped down, and they at the moment are interviewing people to get a founder. They're building an incredible game on the blockchain, which doesn't require gas in order to do things in the game, which as far as I know is actually the first of its kind that's actually, it's in beta. You can go in, you can play. They also have their milk token and all the rest. So there's a lot of positives going for this, but we do know with leadership change that it can be an issue. And if you get the wrong person in, or even if you get the right person in, he doesn't know the ropes like the founder knew the ropes. There's going to be a period where he has to learn the way. And maybe he doesn't know the NFT space well enough. You've got to get the right person in. And even with the right person, there could be a consolidation period where people are not comfortable or worried or whatever it may be. So this one is definitely a riskier play. But for me, it's on this list and on my list to watch, because I do think the upside is very high if they get the right person in, and if the game continues getting improved and getting to the point where they want it to get to. And I think the risk reward is quite high. So I think that the upside is very, very high here. So should they get the right person in, and should they continue developing and building in the space like they have, with their background and with their experience and with their community and with their OG status, they could really be, and all the relationships that they have with other OG brands, they could really, really be a force to be reckoned with. But it is definitely a higher risk play at the moment. And again, like World of Women, if 4 ETH at this price is too much for you, or you're not comfortable because this is a riskier one, then you do also have CoolCats, their sub collection, which is sitting just under half a ETH. And just a little bit of a side note, it's better to buy an unhatched egg than a hatched egg, because with an unhatched egg, you've got the potential of getting a rare. Whereas, no one's going to have listed on the floor a rare. So, you can put your rarity checkers on, but none of these will be rares. So you're buying a common, whereas if you get an unhatched egg, you've got the potential for rares. So that's another one to have on your radar, just to keep an eye on, but do know it is more risky than the other ones that we're looking at today. Then this is only on my radar because of the founder, Lama. He's a builder in the space, very well respected, and I actually bought one of these today. Full disclosure, for the first time. I got in at about this price, about 3.8 actually, 3.79, but I got in when gas was about 300. So I ended up paying about 3.85. And you can see gas the whole day has been, it went all the way up to 600-700 when America came out with the inflation numbers, which were shocking, because people are selling at the moment. They're selling crypto, and obviously, NFTs is a small part of the Ethereum network. There's people busy trading crypto at the moment, and that's why you're going to see these high numbers on the gas side at the for probably the next couple of days until the volatility settles. But I did buy this today, and the reason I did is because I believe in the founder, and I believe in what they're building and what they're doing. So this is more of an alpha pass type PFP, but definitely one that if you are looking for a blue chip alpha pass, blue chip, then this one is as good as it gets. You do have some other really, really good ones, but this one is really, really great. If you don't, you know that I really believe in Champ Crypto just as much. At one, I think they're probably about 1 ETH at the moment. The crypto's pass, and then also I believe in Kosho a lot, and he's a builder also, and he's also got an alpha pass at about 1 ETH. We actually did a video on all alpha passes, so if you're interested in alpha passes, you can watch that. But that's not what this video is about. But just showing you, this is purely what I'm looking at buying in this particular space in light of what's happened with Azuki and trying to mitigate my risk. Now, Doodles for me, actually, in light of Azuki, look, I couldn't give a fuck what anyone thinks. I think it's actually a little bit risky in light of Azuki, because it is relatively new. It's also a PFP project with very little utility or whatever. Yes, they had that amazing event and they've been doing a lot of the right things, and I do think that they are going to be around for the long run, but I'm not comfortable calling this a blue chip because it's still too early for me. I mean, what's it, 5 months now, 4 months? So it's not early, but it's still too early for me. So now's not a good time to get in. I would wait for tomorrow. This will drop a lot after today's drop if you are interested. But yeah, I mean, if I'm putting my skeptical spectacles on in light of the Azuki, this is only from October last year. And yes, they have made a lot of the right steps. This is incredible price action. I have owned Doodles at times, but at this particular time where I'm trying to be risk adverse, and in light of the Doodles, this wouldn't be top of my list, to be quite honest. one that is top of my list and close to top of my list is NFT Worlds. I've spoke about it many times. If you're interested, there's a lot of videos on our channel about NFT Worlds. It was a free mint. These guys are builders. It's built on the Minecraft under, you know, ecosystem, and they really are incredible builders and have been adopted beautifully. I think this is a great entry price, and I think that you really won't look back long term on this project. Why? Because the team has proven that they're workers. They're going to work hard and that they're capable. They've got a proven track record of being able to build something absolutely phenomenal, being NFT Worlds. And it really is phenomenal. And if you don't know about it, as I say, go look at their website, go have a look at go into the World Explorer and have a look at some of the worlds. A lot of projects have bought NFT Worlds to build their metaverse on, and I'm really comfortable with this as a long-term play in the NFT space. Again, you've got to make your own decisions and do your own research, because that's part of it. You've got to really look into these projects. I mean, if I rang your doorbell and asked you for, what is that, $15,000, you're going to ask me what for. You're going to really, look into it. You're not just going to hand it over on high-speed gas, right? And that's the same, especially in the space. So you really have to become your own detectives with everything and make sure that you understand why you're buying into projects. Not because Philip likes it, not because anyone else likes it, but because Philip said it, it piqued your interest, and you then went and spent 5 hours researching the project, asking questions in their discords, doing everything you need to do that you're comfortable, so that you have conviction in your plays, so that when it comes to this market, you're not sitting there trying to sell everything because you can't remember why you bought it. I can honestly tell you, I've been holding an NFT Worlds for God knows how long, and I've not considered selling it once. I've been selling other stuff now in this market. I've not considered selling it at all. I know exactly why I'm in it, and I'm comfortable to hold it because I know why. So yeah, that's NFT World. Something interesting here actually is they've just dropped their avatar collection. NFT World avatars, which still hasn't sold out. I think it's 15,000, but I don't know if they're still minting or if minting is live. So you can actually still mint one. It's 0.3 anyway. So, I mean, whether you buy it here or mint one is irrelevant. I know it was 0.3 on the whitelist. I don't know if it's 0.3 on the public, whatever it is. But these are quite interesting. So let's say you do look into the NFT World's infrastructure ecosystem. You're comfortable with it. All the rest, you really want to get in. You really believe in what they're building, and you don't want to spend 5.5 ETH. This is a great play into their ecosystem because it gives you an avatar. But the nice thing about this avatar is it's your ticket to earning their world token in perpetuity. So all the world token that is generated on their play to earn system, which many projects are doing their play to earn system on NFT World's ecosystem, I think they said 50% of that generated world that NFT Worlds would get, 50% is going to be given back to Genesis Avatar. So obviously split over 15,000 and whatever, but it's really a great buy into their ecosystem. Saying I believe in them and I want to be a part of it, and it has passive income potential. As they scale, that could become substantial, and this floor price could increase, or it could not. Who really knows? But in the end of the day, if you like NFT Worlds, this is another good play at a lower entry point. And then I left the most obvious for last, and for me, this is maybe the only Bluechip in the space, right? NFT Bluechip, taking in mind what we said in the very, very beginning. And that's the Bored Ape Yacht Club ecosystem. Now, why is it considered Bluechip? So a couple of things. First of all, the team is finally doxed. So guys, sorry, and the other guys, we do know who they are, number one. And that makes it a lot harder to just up and run if people know who you are. Number two, they're backed by venture capitalists. So they raised $450 million about a month ago, basically valuing Yuga Labs at $4.5 billion. And these weren't like dodgy venture capitalists. These were proper established venture capitalists that do their due diligence and saw that this, in their opinion, they valued this brand at $4.5 billion at the time. I actually think it was longer than a month ago because it was before their ApeCoin. So now with the ApeCoin side of it, I don't know if that adds value or detracts, might add risk to venture capitalists in their minds, but that's been launched since that valuation. And also the other deed, the other side launch, their metaverse play has been since launched. So again, I don't know if that increases or decreases the Bored Ape Yacht Club goodwill. But long term, I think their plays of ApeCoin and their metaverse play is going to hold them in good stead. So for me, I do think anything in this ecosystem is pretty much as safe as you're going to get in NFTs. Doesn't mean that it's not going to go down. These were 150 Ethereum. They're now 90, and they could very easily go to 70 if this market carries on. But long term, or even medium term, couple of months, they will see the highs again, and they'll go down again after the next drop and whatever it may be. But gradually they'll grow. I mean, these started at 0.08 Ethereum. That's what they minted for. They struggled to mint out. I mean, over a year ago. They're one of the few projects that's a year old, and I do believe in them long term. Obviously, the community, as everyone knows, the community is strong. They have in real life events. They've got a restaurant. They've got a clubhouse. They have private yacht club parties. It's a status symbol. Really, anyone who comes into NFTs, comes into NFTs knows Bored Ape. That's probably what got them in here. They think that their new mint that they're doing today is going to go to 150 ETH and stay there, which is not the case. So Bored Ape Yacht Club, how can you get in? You can get into Bored Ape Yacht Club if you have a big budget. You can get into Mutant Apes, which is under 20 ETH. Again, could go lower. It depends on the market. But long term, I do believe that it's as safe as you get. You could get into the other deed by other side. And we did a whole deep dive video recently on the other side. So if you want to have a look at that in more detail, you can go check that out on our YouTube under content. Then you can also get into the Kennel Club. The Bored Ape Kennel Club, where they have said that there's going to be something happening with the dogs soon. But you can also, because they bought CryptoPunks, you can also buy a CryptoPunk, which is about 70 Ethereum, and you can also buy a Meebit, which is CryptoPunk's sub-collection, sitting at 4.5 ETH. And they have also said that they're going to be focusing on Meebits. So your cheapest entry at this point is actually other side, but that's a massive collection size, and there's still going to be another 100,000 in the next couple of months. So that's going to be a 200,000 collection, which is just huge, right? And your second cheapest is going to be entry into the Yuga Labs ecosystem is going to be Meebits. With all of these, except for the other side, actually, you own commercial rights to your picture, to your PFP. You can use it in a cartoon. You can do what you want with it. You can use it as your logo. You've got full commercial rights to it. With other deed, you actually don't. I don't know, which is very interesting. If you read their full white paper, you actually don't have commercial rights to this. I don't know why, but just be aware of that. So that's the obvious one, Bored Ape Yacht Club and their whole ecosystem. The next one that I think, not financial advice, I think this is an incredible entry, and I am completely comfortable investing in the Clone X ecosystem, as much so as I am in Bored Ape Yacht Club. And Clone X is the only collection I can say that about. And the reason for that is that, as we know, Nike is behind them. Nike does have a face. Nike has a reputation. But it's not just, Louis Vuitton's coming in, or it's not just that it's a big brand. It's Nike. And it's not just that it's a big brand, Nike. Nike fits in Web3 perfectly. It is consistent with what their brand was before this. Everyone, likes wearing branded clothing. The metaverse, they've got space for that. Sporty activity, games, playing. This fits into their brand almost perfectly. And they've shown from when they purchased Clone X since then that they know how to deliver value, and they have the right team running their NFT side of things, because they've delivered consistent value. If you bought your Clone X, you then got your pod. Sorry, that's not the pod. That's not the pod, but you did get that as well. I don't have the Windows for them. Let's just type it in. You got your one pod. You then got your next pod. To show you what it looks like. This is the second pod, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so this was the second airdrop that you got. The first airdrop that you got is going to be here. They did it through on Cypher. Is there an OpenSea? Yeah, this will take us there. I know it's a bit of a roundabout way, sorry. Yeah, this was the first one that you got over here. That was a complete airdrop, dropped in your wallet. They then dropped you your box, the silver box, which I'm actually going to open mine on Friday's show. So if you want to see if I got a rare, inside the silver box was this gold box, as well as a vial, as well as the sneakers, and they really are going for it. They're going into the metaverse in a big way. It fits into their brand image, and I'm very comfortable investing in this project. So again, you've got numerous entry points over here, all the way from half a ETH all the way up to your Clone X's, which are 12 and a half ETH. And if not your Clone X, the vials for the Clone X that haven't been opened yet are 20 ETH. But really, this entry point is incredible. If we weren't in the market that we were in, these sit at 20 ETH all day, very happily. And that's where they should be. So, yeah, I mean, very tempting at 12 and a half ETH. I know it's a lot of money, but I do think you're getting value. You can see how thin the floor is. I mean, on the first line, you get to 13 and a half ETH. On the next line, which is another 6, you get to 14 and a half ETH. It really just takes, a couple of buys, which is where it should be, right? So that's a great one. And following on from that, but not as high conviction because they haven't delivered well yet, in my opinion, but with the same logic that they're an established brand that fits into the metaverse quite well in their image, but also they're the biggest competitor of Nike, and they want to be Nike in the real world. In my opinion, I'm a Nike guy, not an Adidas guy, but I hold NFTs of both. But also in the Web3 world, they want to follow in Nike's footsteps. They're well behind still. They've just recently dropped their second collection. You burnt your first one. You could claim a beanie, a tracksuit, and one other item, whatever it was. But this past two is their play into the avatar space, metaverse space. So they're a good couple of months behind Nike, but you got to know that they're working to catch up. So for me, I'm comfortable with Adidas. Again, not to the level that I am with Nike, just because Nike is not only a well-established brand like Adidas in the real world, but Nike has a proven track record in NFTs that they're taking the right steps. Whereas Adidas still has to prove that, but I do believe they're going to prove that with almost all my heart. I really do. They'll hire the right people to guide them in the right way if they haven't already, and they will make this work. And I think they have already. They actually launched a statement about 2 months ago, a whole lot of notable hires and whatever. So they're taking this seriously. And again, I mean, I do think that this is a great entry point. I think everything at the moment is a great entry point at this price. Again, I'm not looking at flipping tomorrow. I'm thinking about, 6 months, a year, 2 years, holding on to these. These are ones that you sort of, in my opinion, if you can, you put in your ledger and you let them appreciate. You don't care if it dips or goes up or down in the short term because you have conviction in why you purchased it, and you know that it's going to just appreciate as time goes on, over long periods of time. So, guys, I hope that gives you a different take to the Azuki saga. Instead of pointing fingers and I believe it's called a rug and I don't, and I think he was right and I think he was wrong, and I empathize with him because I understand how hard it is, and I think he's a thief. And instead of all of that, I don't think that's productive. It is what it is, and it will be what it will be. We'll look back at this in a couple of months and we'll either have a recovered Azuki at 20 ETH or we'll have an Azuki at half a ETH. We don't know. That's not important. What's important is to say, okay, even if I wasn't affected by this, even if I wasn't, what can I learn from it? What could the warning signs have been that something like this could happen in a project that I could have spent 30 ETH on, right? And what was it? We don't know the team. The team is not doxed. Therefore, anything could happen. I'm not saying that they would run away with the money necessarily. That could also happen in any project. That's even doxed, that can happen. But what I am saying is that these people have pasts that we don't know of because we don't know who they are. And to spend that amount of Ethereum when you don't know that key information is very, very risky. Very risky. And I'll tell you honestly, guys, honestly, and you know me, I'm always straight up front with you. I never purchased an Azuki. Okay. But I was tempted. I was tempted. There were times, yeah, I saw a dip before all of this rubbish. I saw a dip a couple of ETH, and I thought, that maybe these guys are the ones who, they went up so quickly. They sat at 2 ETH for a week, and then they just continually went. I've never seen such a rise so quickly in a project. I mean, even more than Clone X. And they were only 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever old. And I really thought, maybe I'm missing something here. And not that I thought they were horrible. I'm just saying maybe it's, if I could go back and buy a Bored Ape at 20 ETH, what a pleasure. So I thought maybe, and I did give it some thought. I didn't pull the trigger, but I could have easily have pulled the trigger. So I'm not sitting here saying I know anything, or I'm saying I always like to look at this and say everything's school fees for me, right? When I make a bad trade and I make those daily, I look at it as school fees. What is it? It's teaching me a lesson that I need to learn to not make that same mistake again, because I really, I'm growing in the space. That's why I'm here. I want to grow. I want to learn more. And anyone who thinks they know everything is finished before they start. We all need to humble ourselves and realize this is a new space. No matter who you are, you don't know everything. And therefore, when things like this happen, sort of be like a forensic analysis and go through it and say, okay, what could have been, warning signs for me, so that going forward, I don't invest in the same projects that have the same warning signs and end up potentially losing another 20 or 30 ETH. Now, again, they could recover and to some degree, and I don't know, and I don't care. What I want is my viewers to know that, okay, when I'm buying big value NFTs going forward, I'd rather be buying something that doesn't have a undoxed team with an unproven track record, right? And everyone just believes, the stuff that everyone thought. And I also thought that they developed this token that was gas efficient, but through looking into it now, they didn't develop it, they just adopted it. That's research that should be done before one purchases a 25, 30 ETH NFT, even before one purchases a 1 or 2 ETH NFT. And I will say I did get into the beans collection because I thought, okay, that's a good entry into a good ecosystem. So I didn't think like this before. And I'm saying from now on, these are my rules. When I'm playing with a lot of money that I don't want to play around with, yes, NFTs is risky. I'm only playing with money that I can afford to lose. Yes, we know all of that about me. But I'm saying within that, it's not money that I want to throw away. So big money, these are my rules. I want to know that they've got a docs team to some degree. I want to have done research on that docs team. I want to know their roadmap in and out. Yes, I got 2 beans, not me, but what else? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I want to know that roadmap, and I want to know that they've got a background of building in the space, and that they've got a track record of delivering and building in the space. And those are my things, and those are the collections that I think, could be looked at. Again, only one I consider Bluechip in NFT space, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Clone X. Those 2 for me are the safest out of everything. Other than that, there's varying levels of risk, but all the projects I mentioned tonight have good potential. Guys, I know that a lot of people in the NFT space are in the crypto space. I know that today has been another bloodbath. I just want to say that if anyone's been badly affected by this financially, that my heart goes out to you. You're welcome at any stage to come into our Discord, open a ticket, and I will pick up the phone to you and try and offer you any support that I can emotionally if you're really in a bad space with it. So I really am sad with what's going on, especially with Luna. There's a lot of very clever people who know a lot more. I don't know much about crypto, who know a lot more than me, that have been very, very badly burnt in this. People that I know personally, with huge amounts of money, millions of dollars, had full conviction in Luna. I'm not saying, like Azuki, I'm not saying this is the end of Luna necessarily. Don't know enough about it, but I know that there are people that have been really badly hit on the NFT side as well as on the crypto side. And if there's anyone that's really in a bad space, legitimately come in, and I will be there for you any time of the day or night. Know that this works in cycles. There's ups and downs, and we will see the bull again. And like I said in my last video there, what to do in this market, now is the time to be keeping calm and buying 1 or 2 key projects that will hold you in good stead when the bulls do return. So guys, hearts go out to everyone. We will get through this. Stay positive. And come on Friday. I'm opening my Adidas box. I might get a rare vial. So come on Friday, same time, 9:30 p.m. CEST. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe. It really helps the algorithm, and I will see you then. Thank you, everybody. Keep well.